Hey guys, welcome back to another sports stuff video. Today is the Cleveland Browns' first playoff game since 2020. Only our second playoff appearance, I believe, since expansion. Or do we make it into us? It's one of those days. I'm blanking. But in my time of being a Cleveland Browns fan, it's only the second time I've seen us in the playoffs. So honestly, sports stuff is more than just a Browns channel. But since I am a Cleveland Browns fan, I want to give my expectations about what we need to do to win against the Houston Texans. So, number one, Joe Flacco has to be exactly what he's been in the last 6 weeks. This guy's averaging 3 touchdowns, a turnover and a half, over 320 yards a game. Uh, I think it was a 58% drive to points ratio. It was 58 or 68, one of those, where basically every time he's on the field, 58 or 68% of the time, we score points. Whether it's a field goal, whether it's a touchdown, perfect. We can keep that up. On top of that, I think our run game needs to become what it was earlier in the season. Obviously, losing Nick Chubb is tough, but earlier in the season, Jerome Ford, Kareem Hunt, they were averaging about 100 yards a game, 125 yards a game. I think it was like 60 from Jerome Ford, 40 from Kareem Hunt, 25 from Pierre Strong, which Pierre Strong is out this game, so John Kelly instead. And about 2 touchdowns averaged. I'll go down a touchdown and a half during Joe Flacco's reign from the run game. Whether that's Kareem Hunt getting a touchdown, Jerome Ford getting a touchdown, about a touchdown and a half we've averaged since Joe Flacco has been the helm of our team. If we can average that, that's what 4 or 5 touchdowns we're averaging. That's 35 points, not including field goals as well. If we can do that, I feel very confident because yes, we did face the Texans earlier in the season, and they were without CJ Stroud. They had their entire defense, especially their defensive back room. No one was hurt that game. Derek Stingley played, Casey Hayward played, Jalen Petrie played, Jimmy Ward played. Everyone played that game, and Amari Cooper broke the single game record for receiving yards. Like, I have no worries at all when it comes to our offense beating their defense if we keep up the same production we've had the last month and a half of the season. What I will say though is I do worry about our defense. So on offense, if Joe Flacco keeps up his production, which I don't think he's gonna slip January Joe and February Flacco. That's what we're holding on to. I think Joe Flacco's gonna hold on to his production right now. Run game, oh boy. If they can get to about 100, 125 yards between the three of them, 60 from Jerome Ford, 40 from Kareem Hunt, 20 to 25 from John Kelly, I'm going to feel comfortable that we have at least 1 or 2 touchdowns from the run game. Offensive line, keep doing what you're doing. Interior pressure has not really been a big issue this year. It's been exterior pressure. But Joe Flacco knows how to get rid of the ball. So offensive line is not, offensive line is not on my list of worries, really. Wide receivers and tight ends, keep them involved. Cedric Tillman being out does hurt. I mean, he's a really good run blocker. But Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, David Bell / Marquise Goodwin / Austin Watkins, I think got called up from the practice squad. That rotation of wide receivers at wide receiver 3, I'm not too worried about. But David Njoku has to be involved. He has to have over 100 yards, has to have at least 8 to 12 yards per reception, and I would feel very comfortable with us winning on the offensive side of the ball. Amari Cooper, same thing. Keep him involved. I don't think we need a big Amari Cooper game to win today. But I will say that if David Njoku can get to 100 yards, I feel comfortable about us dominating. But if Amari Cooper gets to 100 yards, it's just another Amari Cooper game. But yeah, on offense, Joe Flacco, keep up production. Let's get the run game involved. Let's keep David Njoku involved. On defense, it's a little more worrisome. CJ Stroud has been amazing this year, but there's no Tank Dell. So that is out one of their weapons. Nico Collins has been injured throughout the last part of the season. He's been out multiple games. Same with obviously CJ Stroud. But on defense, Myles Garrett has got to be a game wrecker, right? He's the PFF All Defensive Player of the Year. He is a first team All Pro. He is first team All Pro in every category, every website that is posting their All Pros and Defensive Player of the Years right now. It's Myles Garrett. He's got to play like that in the playoffs, right? We can't have a 1-sack game for Myles Garrett. I'm going to need 2 sacks, a forced fumble, 10 pressures with Myles Garrett today. So I'm going to say Myles Garrett has to be a beast. I expect JOK to really be involved in the run game. Devin Singletary, Damian Pierce, they're doing good. They've done a really good job this year. So I will say I need JOK heavily involved in the run defense. He's obviously a really great blitzer, amazing coverage linebacker. I need to see JOK being athletic enough to stop the run as much as he can. And in the secondary, I just need my secondary to play exactly how they've been playing all year. That's it. I mean, Denzel Ward had a knee injury, so I'm gonna need obviously Martin Emerson to step up and get rid of Nico Collins. I know Greg will do what he can against Robert Woods. He's been that kind of guy all year. Noah Brown might get 1 or 2 big catches this game, but if we just limit the big catches, right? If CJ Stroud dices us down the field by doing checkdowns and dump offs, okay, I'm fine with that. As long as they don't let the big play happen with Noah Brown or Nico Collins, I feel secure enough that we'll be able to get this done, right? I'm very excited for this Browns game. The Texans, I don't think they're going to be dead in the water. I really don't. First year of DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud are in the playoffs. I think that could be a recipe for the future. I wouldn't be shocked if we see them in the playoffs next year. But just like I said earlier this week, the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen's rookie season made the playoffs. Him and Sean McDermott. What happened? The Brights are too light too quickly. Josh Allen got bounced in round 1. Lamar Jackson, I believe, got bounced in round 1. Their rookie year. I could see that happening to CJ Stroud. Not that the lights would be too bright, but this Browns team is a veteran-led team now. They saw the Texans are very young still. They obviously got veterans at key pieces. At defensive line, you have a lot of veterans. At linebacker, you have a veteran. At your secondary, you have Jimmy Ward, one of the best veteran safeties in the league. On offense, you have Robert Woods, Larry Tunsil, but not a lot of guys who have played in big games outside of Jimmy Ward and Robert Woods. You know, Bobby Trees and Jimmy Ward were on the Rams and on the 49ers. Like, they've been to the Super Bowl together. Both of them have been to the Super Bowl and multiple championship games. The Browns team, right? We have Juan Thornhill, who has won 2 Super Bowls. Rodney McLeod's been in multiple playoffs. Zadarius Smith has been in multiple playoffs. Myles Garrett has been in multiple playoffs. Sione Takitaki had an amazing playoff game in 2020. Denzel Ward, I don't think Greg Newsome was actually a part of that playoff team. Greg Newsome was not part of that playoff team. On offense, though, you have Joel Bitonio, Wyatt Teller, Ethan Pochik, right? That interior offensive line have been in the playoffs. And not to mention who we have at quarterback. Former Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco, right? At wide receiver, Amari Cooper has been in the playoffs almost every year of his career, it feels like. David Njoku's been in the playoffs. Like, this Browns team at every position has playoff veterans, right? The Texans have a lot of young guys on rookie contracts. And that Texans team has not been in the playoffs since Deshaun Watson, right? And since 2020, not a lot of guys on that team have made the playoffs at key positions. A lot of offensive linemen have not been in the playoffs for that team. Most of the secondary has not been in the playoffs for that team. Again, Jimmy Ward and Casey Hayward might be the only guys in that secondary who've been in the playoffs, who have been in these kind of big games of like, it is one and done. You win or you're out. So I trust the Browns veterans more than the Texans young guys with sprinkled veterans in, right? All that to say, my prediction is going to be this. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. They're in Texas. So, you know, honestly, I'm in the Midwest. It is snowing bad outside. It is at least like that much snow on the ground. I have to go shovel after this video to go to my brother's house to watch the game. It's going to be interesting, right? It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. My prediction is if everything goes smoothly, I predict 3 touchdowns, an interception, and a fumble for Joe Flacco. Amari Cooper, 150 yards. David Njoku, 115 yards. Elijah Moore, 80 yards, right? Jerome Ford, 75 yards. Kareem Hunt, 20 yards. And John Kelly, 15 yards. Probably a touchdown or 2 from Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt. Probably a sack or 2 this game from Will Anderson. But on defense, I predict at least 1 interception. I predict a forced fumble and 3 sacks. Because Myles Garrett versus that Texans O-line, I trust Myles Garrett. I think he'll get 2 sacks, maybe a forced fumble from CJ Stroud. That's what I think the fumble's going to come from, will be a Myles Garrett strip sack. That's what his specialty is. He's known for his strip sack. Prediction for the score. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I think it'll be Browns 42, Texans 38. I think it'll be a 4-point game. The Texans might even the Texans will have a chance to go down the field and score. The Browns will stop them, and Joe Flacco knees out the game. Browns 42. Or no, what was it? What did I say? Was it Browns 42? Browns 42, Texans 38. Joe Flacco, 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns from the ground, and maybe a fumble recovery touchdown. But that's 3. That's 21 points from Joe Flacco, 2 touchdowns from the ground. That is then 35, and I think maybe 2 field goals. Again, maybe there's 3 touchdowns from the ground or something. But I do think it'll be 42 to 38. And I think CJ Stroud will probably have 4 touchdowns with an interception, or 4 touchdowns and a fumble recovery, and a fumble. Maybe a touchdown from the grounds. Maybe it'll be, again, maybe a pick 6 from their defense. But 42-38, Browns win is going to be my prediction. So, I'm very excited. I can't wait. If you guys enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I post next. I'm excited. I'm very excited for this game. As you can tell, I'm going to be wearing this with a jersey, my Browns hat, my Browns socks, everything I need to do. Let's go Browns. Dog pound, dog check. All right, I'll see you guys later. Peace. Bye.